I got a question for you guys. How come RTA has to be so toxic? Like, just so toxic. I did 25 matches today. I was recording them. I was going through all of them. Like, I can't use any of this. I just kept cursing the entire time. Like, can't use this clip. Can't use that clip. Can't use it. Like, I am just so bitter the entire time. So today we're going to I wanted to take a look at some Runehammer Blacksmiths. Today we're taking a look at this one is both the Wind and Fire Runehammer Blacksmiths. If you guys don't know what the Runehammer Blacksmiths do, the Fire Runehammer Blacksmith has an attack buff and a defense buff. Also will increase the power of the attack buff and defense buff to make it even more valuable. It's like an attack buff level 2 or a defense buff level 2, which is really fantastic with this Kaki. Kaki's going to get supercharged here. The Wind Runehammer Blacksmith, anytime your ally, she also does an attack power buff and a defense buff. Look at all that damage. Look at that just big one-shot nuke. Wind Runehammer Blacksmith, anytime your units attack in your team, if they have an attack buff on them, when they attack, they will defense break, not 100% chance, they will defense break the enemies, and if they have a defense buff on them, they will attack power break the enemies. So that's what she does. So that's why you saw, like, her name is not Lariel, is it? The Dark Blade Dancer was AoE, doing her AoE strip and then glancing hit an attack power break, and she was also defense breaking in there because that's what it does with the Wind Runehammer Blacksmith. Next match, this guy is using all three Onimushas, Fire, Water, Wind Onimusha, Miriam, and Fran. Bans out the Fran, so that bomb is gonna land. That's gonna be pretty nasty if it lands. But first off, it has to land, and then it has 2 turns to detonate. So does he get well, I was gonna say 2-shot cleave. It's gonna be a 3-shot cleave at this point. So, shield will on everything. There's the hammering. They're just gonna skill 2, skill. Oh, gets the great. Okay, they're just gonna skill 2, skill 2, skill 2. Obliterate everything. Goes for that. Okay. Yeah, and at that point, I mean, like, he could have put the bombs on, but then they would just double tap him after that with skill 1, and then he would just insta-die. So, I should just do this. I don't know why I don't just cleave. So this one caught my eye. I'm really curious to see what happens here. We got the Diaz here. We got the Ashir gets banned out. So we have the HP lead. We have the crit resist. Let's see. Diaz plus shield runes. Is this going to be enough? They banned out the Lucian. So they're still going to get a lot of damage from Kaki. No ignore defense. No ignore defense. That was the big kicker. So now at this point they just come back from that. Is the Diaz passive, shield runes, HP leader skill. No ignore defense from the Fae. As a proud Fae owner for the past like 2 weeks on the LD server account, enjoying all too much her not ignoring defense. Another triple Onimusha Miriam with Triana. They got the Fran first on the enemy side, so they picked the Triana instead. Bans out the Triana. I'm not sure why they banned out the Triana. I would have banned out the Miriam. That's kind of like an indicator. It's like if it's 5-starred, it's the only thing that has the attack power and defense buff. Like, you know that's very strong with that team. They banned out, I assume that they banned out the Triana because they wanted to get their bombs through, but I would have still banned out the Miriam. Generally, if something is 5-starred, I like to consider, like, maybe they don't want me to ban this and they're trying to bait me to ban something else. Be like, don't ban this, it's only 5-star. And I'm like, that's usually the one that I'm like, I kind of want to ban that. So, they didn't. So the shield actually, I think, worked against them there. Because the Wind Onimusha does damage based on his lost HP. And he had the shield, which stopped him from, because he'll reduce his HP at the beginning of the turn. So I think that if he didn't have that shield, he actually would have, I mean, it's a shield with cleave, so of course he's got to have the, they have to have the cleave, otherwise it's not a shield with cleave. But if he didn't have the shield, that actually would have done enough damage to kill the rest of the units, I believe. This guy right here, Luxury, just climbed from C1 to G1 using Celine, the Wind Runehammer. These units aren't even at level 40. Using the Celine, the Wind Runehammer Blacksmith. So let's see what comp he's using. Or, I mean, we can see right here what comp he's using. So he's got the attack buff, the defense buff. He's going to have the strip into a glancing, into attack power break. I'm surprised to see him actually doing this with the Dark Samurai of all things. He's got the shield there. Okay, but that's still, he's still going to take that. Oh, they didn't even want to. I was gonna say he's still gonna take that bomb, but you know the bomb still has a two turns to detonate, and by that time there's nothing else to go along with it, so they were gonna be able to easily beat that Joker in 2 turns. Next match, same guy. We want to see his journey up to G1 with this. It's crazy that he just made it from C1 to G1 so fast. It is Special League, so it's easier to make it from C1 to G1 pretty fast, but we want to see this comp. So bans out the Water Cat, because the Water Cat was gonna get so many turns, do so much. She was basically the main source of damage. Aside from the Joker is, I mean, the Ashir does some damage, the Bernard does some damage too. But aside from the Joker's bombs, that was the main source of single target damage. So don't discount that Griffin's damage though. Don't discount the Bernard's damage. Bernard can do quite a significant amount of damage. But just a 1-2 combination, they had Will Runes, they had a 1-2 combination of just attack, power buff, defense buff, and then Kaki, and also the defense breaks. And then Kaki just coming in and absolutely obliterating everything. So, next match, first pick Shimate. I'm liking these really fast, really aggressive Cleaves style matches. So, opponent is also picking a fast, aggressive team up Cleaves style match, which we've seen this. You see this sometimes in regular season with Oracles as well, because these Inugamis very, very fast with the multiple speed leads. They come in and, like, for example, Ciara and Praha, they will team up with those, increase their attack age by 45% because they're usually built with 100% crit rate. So comes in, actually winds up surviving with the Shimate, and that. So we see these Inugamis are usually both on Swift in that kind of comp, and then they actually got outsped even with the speed lead and the Swift. Because the Ikaru has a speed lead for water units, still got outsped by the Wind Runeheart Blacksmith, which means that it's on Swift as well, which we've kind of ascertained from before. It does have to move before the Dark Blade Dancer. We know the Dark Blade Dancer is super fast and on Despair. It should be no shocker. It's the same basic comp that he's using as usual. So he picks the Water Joker as the last pick, bans the Triana, bans the Sustain out from the enemy side. He's not really worrying about Vertiheel getting a whole ton of turns. They really only had the 1 sustain though, and this Kinky is not going to do fantastic against the Kaki. Kaki's just a fantastic counter to that. So, and then also the Vertiheel with the glancing hit, the Antares with the glancing hit. That's just one-shots that, and now at this point, the Kaki's just gonna be able to take, even without the rest of the units on the team, the Kaki's just gonna be able to solo this whole thing. So he doesn't even need the other 3 units. So one of the things that I really like about this comp is that he's just picking the same things over and over and over and actually able to continue to win with the same things over and over. Aside from the last pick, sometimes it's the Water Joker, sometimes the Dark Samurai. Let's see what... Oh, he actually... he bans out the Chloe. Will Rune's on 2 things. So he doesn't have a Stripper. That's why I mentioned the Will Rune's on 2 things. And also, the Wind Pumpkin is going to... As soon as this hits, it's going to put a shield up. Okay, and then we got the Sword of Supreme Skywolf, which is usually going to activate with skill 3. Comes back from the dead. But this Wind Pumpkin, if you guys don't know what it does, he cannot be defense broken. So he opted for the strip into a defense break. He got lucky and he actually got the defense break with the Shimate. And then Sword of Supreme Skywolf, which is going to still leave the Pumpkin alive, because Pumpkin cannot be defense broken. He's always built super tanky. And then every time he hits, every time he gets hit, he's going to get a shield. But it's just not enough. I mean, even without that, he's still going to be able to do so much damage. There's nothing that the Dark Pumpkin, the Wind Pumpkin can really do. I wonder if we wind up seeing the same exact picks. So we see a Julie for this one, bans out the Chloe for the invincibility. He wants to still make sure that he does some damage, but he picks the Julie because he's letting the Draco through. He knew they had 2 potentially Swift units and also 2 speed leads, so he had to. So either way, they were going to take turn 1. So he's like, you know what? Let me take the Julie. I know that they're going to have a bunch of buffs on their team. 1,000 shots is going to do a lot of damage there. Does not wind up actually killing anything with the 1,000 shots, but comes in with the Kaki and actually winds up killing 2 things there. And now he's just got to worry about getting light liched, which is usually not a thing that happens in RTA. So can the light lich solo? I mean, that really is the question. Can the light lich? So actually, he had the perfect opportunity right there that he did enough damage, and then the light lich was going to get a turn and take that invincibility off and still be below 50% HP. So it was going to be super easy to beat him right after that. So his opponent first picks one of the things that he's been picking every single match. The Dark Chun-Li is the same as the Dark Blade Dancer. So let's see how he winds up. So he just bans that out. And he leaves the Iris in. Iris is another stripper, but it is not a consistent stripper. It did not wind up stripping anything. She does not have a great chance to strip. So Sometimes she works, sometimes she doesn't. You never actually know if she's going to work or not. So he just picked more damage is what he did. Picked more damage, does not have the defense breaks there. He does not have the strip into a defense breaks, but it didn't really matter. He just went for damage, and he said, I'm going to hopefully not get stripped by this Iris, and he did not get stripped by the Iris, and just started killing things. So currently he is sitting at 1390 points. To get G1 in Special League, you need to be 1400 points and the top 2500. I know I spoiled it in the beginning. I was like, he gets from C1 to G1 with his comp. It's a little bit quicker in Special League than regular season to actually climb up there, because Special League is just, it's shorter. It's much shorter than the regular season. So, as long as you can commit to doing 2 weeks worth of battles and just battle every single day, you can rank pretty decently in Special League, as long as your win rate is not completely atrocious. As long as you get like a 55% win rate, you can actually rank pretty well in Special League. So, you don't have to commit the whole several months like regular season. You just commit for like 2 weeks and you're set. The nasty thing about this Water Joker is like, just the Water Joker is like, I'm just going to put bombs on everything and GG. And then he just comes back from the dead, and there's not really anything that they can do at this point, because it just bombs insta-killed everything. So kind of counter, like, as a very last pick, and this is what winds up actually getting the G1. But at the very last pick, it's like, if you don't have a counter to the Water Joker, what are you going to do? He's just going to kill he's just going to bomb everything. He's so nasty. He was getting banned a lot in, I think, Season 18. Not as much Season 19, not as much play in Season 19, because Wusa was super popular in Season 19 versus Season 18. So there was already people first picking Wusa, people second picking Wusa. You don't see Water Jokers that much in Season 19 versus Season 18. But he's super nasty as a last pick if your opponent is not prepared for him. I don't know if you were expecting him to start switching his comp up as soon as he got to Guardian, but he's not switching anything up as soon as he gets to Guardian. Let's see what winds up. His opponent does not have any strips though. Although he has 3 things on Will. He does not have the Runehammer Blacksmith on Will. So that is a super fast Fran, super fast Vertiheal. I mean, he banned out the speed lead, so let's see. Even with the Will runes, he just had enough additional damage in artifacts, and that's multi-hits, that did so much damage. He gets the defense break, so attack buffs, defense breaks, obliterates everything. So even though he took down the Julie with all that additional damage in artifacts, that's why the additional damage in artifacts is so good, he still absolutely just obliterated everything with the cocky attack buff, defense break, and attack buff, defense buff, and then defense break and super big nuke. But anyway, that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have a great day. I will see you as always in the next one.